Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to this mega extended session, episode 47. I am Professor Wolfizzle. I am speaking to you today from a place of constant movement. As many of you know, I am spending this month traveling, and this physical journey has forced me to reflect on a much deeper, internal journey. Why do we travel? Is it merely to escape our daily routines, or is it a biological necessity for the mind? Today, we are conducting a deep dive into the psychology of travel and exploring how the act of crossing borders rewires your brain. In the field of neuroscience, we often discuss the concept of cognitive flexibility. This is your brain's ability to switch between different concepts and adapt to new, unexpected information. When you are at home, your brain lives in a state of homeostasis, a stable, predictable equilibrium. You know the smells, the social etiquette, and the language. Your brain is on autopilot. However, the moment you step off a plane in a foreign country, your brain is bombarded with novel stimuli. This state of ambiguity forces your brain to work harder. You have to navigate a world where a nod might mean something different, or where the rhythm of the day is unfamiliar. This friction creates new neural pathways. Travel is not just a luxury, it is a profound exercise in neuroplasticity. Research shows that people who live abroad or travel frequently score higher on tests of creativity and complex problem solving. By disrupting your routine, you are literally making your brain more versatile. One of the most transformative psychological aspects of travel is the confrontation with ethnocentrism. This is the subconscious belief that our own culture is the center of the universe, and that our values are the universal standard. Travel shatters this illusion. When you sit in a tiny cafe in a remote village or navigate a bustling market in a megacity, you develop a more nuanced and sophisticated understanding of humanity. You begin to practice cultural relativism, the ability to understand a person's beliefs and behaviors within the context of their culture, not yours. This is the birth of the global citizen. However, we must be honest about the challenges. Travel often triggers culture shock. This is not just feeling a bit lost, it is a significant psychological state of disorientation. It typically follows a specific trajectory. First, the honeymoon stage, where everything is beautiful and exotic. Then comes the frustration stage, where the differences feel overwhelming and the language barrier feels like a wall. But if you persist, you reach the adjustment stage and finally, the assimilation stage. During this process, you build resilience. You learn that being uncomfortable is not a threat, it is the precursor to deep personal growth. You learn to be observant rather than judgmental. You learn that the correct way to live is just one of 1,000 possibilities. In 2026, we are also witnessing a new social phenomenon, the rise of the digital nomad and the concept of location independence. Technology has uncoupled our work from our geography. But this brings a new psychological cost, the loss of social anchorage. When you are always moving, where do you belong? This has led to the rise of intentional communities and a new way of defining home. Home is no longer a fixed coordinate, it is a state of internal stability. Travel teaches you that your identity is not defined by your furniture or your house, but by your experiences and your ability to adapt. We also need to discuss slow travel. In the age of social media, many people practice checklist tourism, rushing from one landmark to another just for a photo. But the real psychological payoff comes from mindful exploration. Slow travel is about immersion. It is about staying in one neighborhood long enough to recognize the baker, to understand the local socioeconomic challenges, and to learn the subtle idioms that don't exist in textbooks. This is where transformative experiences happen. Moments that fundamentally shift your perspective on life. For you as a language learner, English is your infrastructure for this journey. You don't just learn English to pass a test, you learn it to gain accessibility to the human story. Every new word you master is a new destination. Every time you overcome the fear of speaking, you are crossing a psychological border. You are not just a student, you are an intellectual explorer. The most valuable souvenir you can bring back is not a physical object, but a new set of eyes. As the traveler and writer Freya Stark once said, to awaken quite alone in a strange town is one of the pleasantest sensations in the world. It is in that loneliness and that strangeness that we truly find out who we are. Travel makes you more adaptable, more tolerant, and more articulate. It gives you the authority to speak about the world because you have felt its textures. As we finish episode 47, I want to give you a traveler's challenge, even if you are at home today. Engage with something alien to your current routine. Watch a film from a country you've never visited. Listen to music in a language you don't understand. Practice your English by reading about a global issue from a foreign news source. Maintain your intellectual curiosity. Thank you for being my traveling companions this month. Your engagement, your comments, and your shared hunger for growth are what keep me moving forward. I am Professor Wolfizzle. Stay adventurous, stay curious, and I look forward to our next conversation in episode 48. Goodbye for now.